Thank you all for being here. Excited to have you here. This is my buddy Andrew Harrison. Andrew fronts this Junior Bloomer project, and this is his songwriting project. And I met Andrew almost 10 years ago, and I think one of the things that initially attracted me to his songwriting was definitely lyrics, and he and I just kind of hit it off pretty quickly as far as the music that we bonded over. But Andrew, I was just curious, what feels good to you about processing the world around you through music, writing music, lyrics, and especially at this stage in your life as you were talking to being nearly a year sober?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think part of addiction and just modern malaise is being pretty self-obsessed, which I'm very guilty of, and I think that I've used songwriting largely to process my inner world, and to try to figure out like what's going on underneath the surface. And it's like my one creative outlet for trying to summon subconscious material to try to make sense of my inner world. Now that like I feel like I've done so much work around that, I think there's obviously always more work to do, but I am taking a hiatus from writing songs about being a sad drunk. And so now I'm wondering, what do I have to say about the world? Do I have a unique point of view or a unique take, unique enough to put in song form for people to digest? It really hasn't been something that I think I've explored much with my songwriting up to this point.
Yeah, it's one of the things that we talked about last year when you were like fresh off releasing this record and maybe more newly sober, is like, can I write a happy song, or like what does that look like? So where do you feel like you're at with it now?
Yeah, so where I'm at with it now is trying to allow myself to just really reach unconsciously for especially lyrics. Whatever comes up, whatever is what comes up. If it doesn't make sense to me in the moment, then just basically making everything way lower stakes. Instead of being like, okay, I have an idea for a song, and here's how I want it to resolve, and here's what I want the message to be, and I'm going to try to craft it around that. It's more like I'm just going to say whatever comes to mind, and maybe it means something, maybe it doesn't, but more like stream of consciousness, and kind of starting from there and trying to strip away all of the layers of like songwriting tools that I've built up over the years and kind of go back to just like a kid in a bedroom who's just making shit up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you've been writing songs for 15 years or so, back to that high school bedroom. Does it feel even more vulnerable now, or do you feel like you're tapping into an honesty that you haven't in the past?
No, I mean, I can't listen to anything that I put out in high school. It's very religious, one, which I am no longer. And yeah, it's like very hard on the sleeve for a 16-year-old. Like, it's pretty cringy for me personally to listen to. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude. So it is vulnerable, but like I said, it's like, it's the only real artistic outlet that I have. And so I try to really push myself to not let the vulnerability aspect of it scare me away from what I'm trying to do, because most of what I'm trying to do here is selfishly for me, to express myself to myself. And the fact that I get to do it for other people and it might mean something to them is awesome, but the primary function is just for me and to fuel myself like spiritually.
Yeah. Is that always felt like the most effective way to do that for yourself? Like, if you're not songwriting and you're not playing music, does the world feel differently to you?
Yeah, things might start feeling a little hairy, and it might take me a little while to figure out why. And then it's like, when's the last time you grabbed your guitar that sits on the wall next to your head where you sit and watch TV all the time? And if the answer is more than like a week, then usually that's a source of the hairiness.
Yeah, I feel like another thing with this Junior Bloomer project is you have maybe not been as afraid to like really lean into the heavy pop moments and just like lean into that sensibility that you love about music so much. And one of the fun things about some of these Junior Bloomer shows that you've been playing is there's kind of there's been like an iconic cover that you've played in a lot of these sets. Can you just talk about what that has done for your psyche? Just maybe breaking down some of these certified bangers and just you know, these iconic pop songs, and if that has like infected your writing at all?
Yeah. So, it's true that this is. I've allowed myself to be a lot more poppy and catchy with these songs than I typically would in the past, where I'd be like, that's like bubblegum pop. Like no one wants to hear that. And I know early on I would text you these demos and be like, is it like cool poppy or is it like wash your eyes with bleach poppy? Like I can't tell.
Yeah,
And
if
you'd
he
be like,
by
"No, it's
by
cool."
early on, and I mean like weekly, I get these texts. Sometimes.
Yeah,
It's like, hey, listen to this. Is this too much?
I was needy. Needy. Yeah, so like with the covers, like we did a Third Eye Blind song, Semi-Charmed Life. We did Avril last show, Complicated. We did The Middle by Jimmy Eat World one time. And I think what's so amazing about those songs is, first off, Semi-Charmed Life, like, you can't be like, well, that song's awesome because of the lyrics. The lyrics are insane if you're paying attention to them. It's about being a meth head and like an abuser. I don't know. Like, it's crazy. So there's something else going on with that song that gives it its magic. It's not the lyrics. Because if you learn the lyrics, you're like, can I sing this on stage in 2024? Like, is this okay? Am I going to get arrested? And then with like The Middle, that's a 3-chord song. And it's the song that I was so fond of as a kid. And there's something very simple about it. And it's just, I don't know. I think that song does have these great lyrics and a great message, obviously, that's very timeless. But they captured something really special in this very simple song. And then Avril, that's just a pop song. But when I say that, I mean like it is hooks all the way through. Like I couldn't get that song out of my head for like a month after we learned it. And a lot of them have this sort of undefinable kind of lightning in a bottle quality that's really hard to pin down. But I think that's what makes songwriting so fun. Is like there's nothing musically, there's nothing really to talk about here as to why that song is special. It's just greater than the sum of all of its parts. And there's just something about it that when you hear it, you smile, it gets stuck in your head, and you just like it. And I think it's fascinating to like do these cover songs, recognize that it's like, man, this song is actually really simple and straightforward for the most part, but it has that little extra magic that is kind of hard to define.
Yeah, I think that's like maybe the biggest difference that I noticed with this Junior Bloomer project, as far as your songwriting in the past. Like these are the songs that get stuck in my head of yours, you know, like I hear them once and I'm usually singing along or like can hear that melody like bouncing around in my head. So well done. Also, shout out to Zanny. This is Zanny's first time ever playing with this band, and she's, this is David Burrows here playing guitar and keys today. Dylan on bass. I was talking to David outside, and when Andrew was putting together the lineup of like what would be the live band for this project, one of the people that we talked about a lot was David, and I feel like every show after one of the Junior Bloomer shows, you and I have this conversation about how much you love these songs. So I was just curious if you could just maybe share about what you love about Andrew's songwriting and like what keeps you coming back to this project.
Yeah, I mean, it's like playing music and playing multiple instruments in a bunch of different bands and filling in and stuff. The easiest bands to play with are the ones that I actually personally enjoy the music of so much that I would listen to it when I'm alone, which I don't really listen to a lot of music anymore because I'm playing it so much. And with his music, it's like, it's really easy to learn because it's already in my head. And the first time we met, I was giving him some guitar lessons. This was like 6 or 7 years ago, and we sat down and kind of did a little mock lesson to see what, and he played me a couple of his songs, and it was like, whoa. You ever meet people or like listen to music where it feels like they're inside your head?
Yeah, absolutely.
And they know exactly what you're going through. It almost feels like offensive. That was how I felt about his music, and it was like to my experience, just existing to a T. Some of these like questions he'd ask in his lyrics and stuff, and the melodies were just really catchy. The songwriting was really crafty, and it wasn't like too complicated. But he would like do these really tasteful licks and stuff, and it was just like easy. It's easy. I'd play in this band forever. It was great.
Beautiful. Junior Bloomer, everybody. They're going to play a couple more songs for you all. Thanks so much for being here today.